Alright, this should be a recording of a recorded 18 PB. I hope it doesn't break on the way. I don't normally record because this is just like, eh. But this game actually like felt really satisfying and was like, man, maybe I can pull the game out of the history viewer functionality of the Mesen emulator that I'm playing on. So I had a broken right middle hand in January and was in a cast for 11 weeks? Was still able to like play somewhat, because I was able to use thumb and index finger, and obviously the left hand does the most work. But obviously there's been a bit of a impairment. But I've actually felt like I'm getting maybe even like to a point where I'm better than when I was before that injury. And this is the first documentation of that. So we're actually starting like pretty inefficient on 18. My playstyle is dash. I would qualify it as like a pretty aggressive dash with a lot of quick tapping. Which is funny, because like I remember posting on the Discord, the Tetris Discord, not really understanding how quick tapping is supposed to work at all. I was apparently wrong about that, though the frustration came from just not really understanding it on a fundamental level, and now I kinda do. Because my point always was like, well, if I can't like tap enough to hyper tap, because I'm not... There's some things there apparently in the recording, but it doesn't break. Yeah, if I can't tap enough for hyper tap, so my just frequency isn't high enough, then how would I be able to do the quick tap? But there's a big difference between just like one quick tap or even multiple. Like I can do like, I don't know, 3 taps pretty quickly, but not like 5. It's just kind of like borrowing from the future there. So sometimes after losing das I can go dididim, but I wouldn't be able to do much more, which obviously you need to do up to 5 taps to go all the way to the left. Yeah, is this even the right game? This is just really inefficient. Oh no, I think it is, because I was really happy about this solve actually after making the dependency. Also, it's a pretty low line count right now. But I probably will recover the pace if this is the right game. It's pretty aggressive. Yeah, I think I remember the game now. Tetris for me is a lot of like flow state stuff. Like sometimes I don't even see the right moves on 18, and sometimes I can like be on 19 ahead of the curve speed-wise, like just knowing where the piece is going to go exactly, visualize the stack perfectly, and then plan out the next move already. It actually reminds me a lot of piano, which I'm been learning more intensely. Like I've been learning it on and off since my childhood, but only recently I made big discoveries. But yeah, in piano, like when you practice a song and you sometimes have to just do it on only 0.75 speed, because otherwise you're just gonna fall behind between your hands and where your fingers are, and looking at the notes and finding windows for that. But sometimes you just get into the flow state and something clicks and you can just do things at higher speed than you normally would be able to do with higher precision. And yeah, similarly for me for Tetris. I don't really know if these like left-right movements right now in the recording are just me overshifting das and correcting it, but it looks like way too quick for that. So I think it has something to do with the recording. So I'm playing on emulator with one frame of auto delay shift, which just kinda has felt good. I don't even know if it's necessary at this point. I played originally on a different PC, and swapping to this one I just kept some of the settings and didn't really question them. And actually think I had to like relearn some timings, because like it was just different on this one. Like if you're just used to a certain amount of delay, and I think that's the main argument between players on emulator and players on real console, and I've never played on real console so I wouldn't have the data for that. You just get used to the delay at some point, and then not having it would be weird. But yeah, so I'm playing with 1 frame of auto delay shift, which I had to turn off for the history viewer to work. I know that from like last time I wanted to record something, which I think was the 19.4 desk clear. It was just like, why does my recording break so much? And someone was like, try turning off auto delay, and turning off auto delay in the settings for the emulator just fixed things in the history viewer. Alright, so we have a pretty decent transition into 19. Speaking of like personal strengths and stuff, I'm just playing mostly on 19, so I actually don't really have that high 18 efficiency compared to some other DAS players. Like a low 600k, and I think that was a quick tap, for example, over there. I think, and another one, and now I'm getting a bit worried, and I'm good that I took that burn, because everything else would have been just way too much. And now I'm actually like that in control again. See, that's another thing about, and that's definitely the, like, auto delay being fixed there. That was really good though. I'm gonna like rewind that. Nah, I'm gonna just play the whole thing out. Yeah, those were like some really good adjustments. I'm really happy with those. Anyway, what was my point? Right, playstyle. Like, I play a lot on 19, just practicing my aggression there. And I feel like it's just like a better practice for DAS control, because on 18 you can get away with so much. Just losing DAS. And then just recovering from it, whereas if you lose it on 19, you need to like instantly think about what you do both for the current and for the next piece. Because the build-up frames just like, by the time those happen, you're just kind of dying. Whereas on 18 it doesn't really matter, the piece sometimes just like takes a while to charge up the DAS again. But as a result of that, I don't really have that much 18 efficiency practice. So I've never had like anything remotely close to a 700k transition, and I don't think I recently really had like a 650k transition even. And apparently you don't need that for 19? For 1.1? Which is crazy to me. Like, I knew this game was pretty good, especially in terms of recoveries, and I guess the recoveries just didn't take that much time. But the line count isn't super crazy either. I never got like a super long draw out, but I had to take a triple here, for example. But then I guess at least I got the Tetris. And then, yeah, I think about at this point is the first time I looked at the score. And was like, what the fuck? That is not even 200 lines yet. And that's where the nerfs go up. And I really struggle with nerfs a lot in this game. That was an actual misdrop, yeah. I could have done that in reverse and would have had an even cleaner recovery, but looks like that's fine. Oh god, the score is glitching out. Didn't want to go for the spin there. Missing that would have been pretty deadly, so I just took the burns. But yeah, it looks like the score uncapping is just like flickering in and out. That's funny. But yeah, I just have a lot of like, when I have a really good game, I'm just like getting weirdly nervous and then not being able to keep up the pace. I'm used to getting nervous, but I'm not used to that impacting my game as much as in Tetris. And here I'm like, okay, I have 3 burns left, what do I do? And I guess I set this up and go for middle well. And then just do this and hope I get a line, which I don't really for the longest time. So first we start throwing things. No, it wasn't that bad. It felt like way longer in the moment. But yeah, like, I'm used to like getting nervous in Necrodancer, for example, and just generally grinding out runs and roguelites, where it's just like, sometimes it's like you only get that opportunity right now, and Tetris feels pretty similar to that, because it's random nature. And then you do get nervous, but then in those games I don't really choke as much as in this one. And by choke I mean just actually let the nerves affect your playstyle. I guess it has something to do with Tetris being like a bit more mechanical, in like you needing to retain your muscle memory. And when to quick tap and such. And when like wall charges on single tiles, like those are also like a very hot and cold thing. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But yeah, that is a 1.123, so 1,123,000 18-star DAS game. Which I don't know, I don't actually keep track of my PBs that much. The score, like the top score that was on screen, the 1.2 million, is not a real game. That's with like just doing aggression practice a while ago with rewinds. Since I'm playing on emulator, rewinds aren't an option. I think you would be able to tell if something was rewound in this game, because I think then the like the FPS count at the top right goes crazy or something. But yeah, I guess in the end you wouldn't actually really be able to know if this was used with rewinds or not. But yeah, I mean, you could do like more absurd things if you wanted to do that. So... And like, it's not like I'm competing for world records here or something, where like more severe requirements on proof would be important. This is just something I wanted to share. And just have like also documented for myself, similar with the 18.4. And it's not quite worth it for me to just have OBS set up and running every single time I play. So it seems like a good compromise for me. But yeah, to conclude the personal update, the hand is healing and feeling better. It's still like the bone isn't fully healed, but I can mostly move it again. I can't really put force on it again. And it's been like 3.5 months now, so that was took all way longer than I feel like it should have. But hopefully in 4 weeks when I have my last x-ray, it's just gonna be like, yep, this looks good. Now you can do everything again. Until then I still have to be a bit careful. And apparently it doesn't impact me in competitive gameplay anymore, so that's nice. So, yeah. Goodbye.